Hello and welcome back to a What I Read This Month video. So those of you that have been watching my channel for a while will know I did this video every single month during 2021 and I read loads of books that year. However, 2022 got a bit busy with work, but in 2023 I did join a book club and I tried to pick up reading a bit more, and I read 56 books last year. This year, 2024, I've set a target of 60 books. But anyway, I'm going to talk about what I read last month because it was a fairly good month. I read 7 different books. So I'm just going to go through the books in the order that I read them and give you my rating and a little bit of a review. The first book that I read in December 2023 was Mad Girl by Bryony Gordon. So I really like this book. It was published in 2016 and she is a newspaper columnist. Anyway, so I've read her bits in the newspaper and the newspaper magazine before. So it was all about her experiences with like OCD. So she's had that from a young age and she often feels anxious and she goes through a period of depression, drug use and also alcoholism. And there's also a bit of bulimia and disordered eating. When she's a teenager, all her hair starts coming out like alpaca, and it's quite a shocking story, but it's really page turning and funny. I like the way it sort of pulled me into the story, and I found some parts of it relatable because I've also suffered with mental health issues. But overall, I thought it was really eye-opening, and someone that's not that like interested in mental health or something, or doesn't know that much about it, might find it a good book to read because it could help them think about how it affects other people. The second book that I managed to finish was by Gillian Flynn. It was published in 2006 and it's called Sharp Objects. I'm only rating this 2 stars because it took me 3 months to finish. I started it in mid-September. I just could not get into it at all. I really liked Garden Girl. That was quite a few years ago though, but I liked that book and I thought, oh, Gillian Flynn, I like this book, but I just could not get into it. It's like the style of writing or something. I think it's now been turned into a short TV series. But anyway, the story is about like a journalist who does a lot of self-harming, so I suppose that would be a trigger warning. The journalist goes back to her old hometown and she's got a much younger sister and she's a twin sister, or like a younger sister that died when she was a child. So she's kind of known as the girl with the dead sister, but then she's got this younger sister. And it's kind of like this journalist with self-harm issues going around trying to solve this mystery. In contrast to the last thriller, I really liked reading Lisa Jewell's The Night She Disappeared. So this was published in 2021 and I would 100% rate it 5 stars. Probably one of my favourite books I read last year. So I just really liked it. I read it fairly quickly over less than a week, which is fairly quick for me these days. And I just found it really sort of addictive, page turning, there's a lot of suspense. So there's like a teenage mom leaves the baby at home while she goes off to a party with her boyfriend. And the boyfriend is like a little bit emotionally abusing her. And so they're kind of like, but then the boyfriend also goes missing, but the boyfriend's mom kind of thinks they've just run away because they didn't like the whole responsibilities of having a child. But then the mom of the girl that disappeared is convinced that something bad has happened, and there's this whole long twisting story. And I really like the way it goes like back between different time periods, and also there's like the head teacher at the school, which the person that's gone missing is at. The head teacher changes, and the head teacher's girlfriend is like a mystery writer or like detective. I think it's crime detective writer, and she like feels like, oh, I'm solving a real crime here, and that's what she actually manages to do. So it's quite interesting because it goes in between all these different characters and also between different time plots. So it tells, I think the girl that goes missing is called Tallulah. Not 100% sure, but anyway, it goes like her perspective, other people's perspectives, and the girlfriend of the head teacher's perspective, but like through different time periods and like flipping back and forth. But I actually found it really easy to follow. I read like the story. It's quite a shocking ending and it's still with me. And I had given this to my fiance to read and he also found it quite a shocking ending, and he actually managed to read it and found it a good book. Next up, we have this book by Cecilia Ahern. It's called The Gift. And I really like this because it was December, so I was like, oh, I'll read a Christmassy book. It was okay. I would give it 2 stars, but I found it pretty bad. It was set in Dublin, fairly readable, easy to follow, you know what's happening. There's not too many characters, but I'm not sure about the whole magic and like the sort of twists that were in it. Like, I'm not sure how things were happening, but I suppose that's what magic is. But basically, there's this busy businessman who's addicted to work and overworking, meets up with, he like meets this man sitting on the street. The man on the street becomes the businessman's conscience, and he's like pointing out ways for the businessman to live a better life and be better to his family, because he's just very like committed to his job and running down the career path rather than spending time with his young children. Next we have the Nutcracker book, and 100% did just buy this because it is pretty, and also I really want to go and see the Nutcracker ballet, but I just find the story very confusing, so I've rated this 3.5 stars, but I just really think the pictures and like the little drawings in it are really exquisite. But I did find it confusing. I think the story would make more sense if I actually went to watch the ballet or did a bit more research. And basically there's this girl and her brother get given something, and the girl is given a nutcracker, and then there's kind of all these fights with like sugar plum fairies, and something gets smashed, and the mom thinks the girl is just talking nonsense because she's got a fever, but there's all these things happening. But it's a confusing story, but I think it would make more sense if I actually ever went to go and see the ballet. So yeah, I just like this book because it's really pretty, and it's a book that I'm going to start trying to read every December. Sixth, we have a Ladybird book, How It Works, The Dads. So this book has an RRP of £6.99. I would not pay that. I bought it at a car boot sale for £2, and it was a present for my dad, but I read it in like less than 10 minutes. I don't think I would pay full price for it just because it is such a quick read, but it is quite funny. And my dad doesn't particularly like reading, and I think he's read a few pages of this. But anyway, this is one of my favourite ones. So it's got all these funny bits. So it says he could not admit it to his wife, but Simon's twins are starting to freak him out. So there's some more pictures. So it's really quick, easy to read because it is whole page pictures, big fonts. But yeah, it's a really cute book and it's quite funny. It is adult humour though. Finally, in this video we have Jenny Colgan, Christmas at the Island Hotel. This was published in 2020. I always think it's a bad sign when a book starts off with a map of the place. So it's got a map of this remote island in Scotland. I'm pretty sure it's a fictional place. And then there's all these... Yeah, then there is a family tree, and there's even like a list of all the different characters. I'm just like, how am I going to keep track of all these characters? Anyway, and it's also a bad sign if I carried this around with me for 4 days before I even read the first page, because I was like, because I don't know, it's just a bit off-putting when it starts off with all those like family trees and stuff, because you know it's going to be hard to keep track of. But anyway, this is the 4th book in the series, which I hadn't realised, so maybe if I'd actually read the first 3 books first. Not much happened really. It's like a nice easy read, nothing spicy. It was confusing as I had thought. It was very confusing, twisting between all the different characters and perspectives and viewpoints, and I didn't really relate to any of the characters, but I can see why you might read it. But I like it was okay. I don't know, like some of the stories were quite nice, but it was like kind of twisting between different characters, and I didn't really understand the whole backstory. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I'm planning on making this a monthly video throughout 2024, so subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and bye!